Good afternoon, everybody. It's your boy Sniper, aka the Brown Almaco Wolf. I got a very special guest on here. Y'all might have known her from the YouTube channel, or you might not, but I get the opportunity to interview her today. Miss Fabulous Understood. How you doing today, ma'am?
Fine. How are you? Thank you for having me.
No, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Um, Real quick, what's going on? You new 86K Brooklyn Hood. How's everybody doing? So today, I watched some of Misunderstood um videos and was so intrigued by it. It's watching the growth of life when challenges in life that was set before her and how she has come out of the mud per se. So we're gonna talk about some things. Again, there will be no trolling in here. There will be no if anybody get out of hand, my mods, y'all know what to do. We fly them up out of here. So who the first question that everybody asks during the interview is who is misunderstood?
Hey, misunderstood. I talk about all kinds of things on my channel, but I started off talking about sobriety, um, my journey to sobriety, and now I'm in recovery. I'm at two and a half, have 2.5 years sober. May 21st is my sobriety birthday, where I'll hit 3 years sober. And so, I'm just here to talk about things and hang out with y'all.
Good. Well, first and foremost, God bless. And God is good. And I want to say congratulations to you on your journey on the sobriety. Um, so let's get into the early years of your early years real quick. What was the triggering factor for you to get addicted to a substance or whatever have you?
Well, for some of you that have followed me, my story is kind of layered. So, I'll get into as much as I can. And then, maybe I'll have to do a part two just because it's kind of layered. But long story short, I was introduced to substances at a young age. I did not become addicted until I was older. I went to the military, got out, and that's pretty much when I became addicted. First, I was addicted to Coke. I have my kid over here. And then later it was amphetamines.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
And how long was that? How long was that journey?
Which one?
Your addiction journey. How long were you
Oh, I'm sorry. That was
battling?
about 20 years.
20 years.
20 years. That I was pregnant. Mm-hmm.
So, throughout this battle, what we all know what substance can do to your body, but what effects did it have onto your life?
Well, it was quite a journey. At first, I enjoyed it. I liked it. It just made everything feel like it was okay. And then later, I started to see how it was affecting my family, how things were just starting to fall apart. And then, my health started to take a toll. And that pretty much was the start of me wanting to become clean.
Okay, so with every addiction, what when it came to your health, a lot of people say it's the health issues at first, and then then you see your children, um, and but what was the determining factor that okay, enough is enough? How
Because
did
because I blogged online, there was someone was upset with something that happened on my panel. I didn't allow him to come up when I had a guest speaker. And then so they called CPS on me. CPS came, and it took me about I want to say like 3 months to get my kids back, because I had to wait for all the drug tests to come back, the hair follicle tests to come back. And then I was able to get my kids back when they saw that I was actually clean. But that was it when they called CPS on me, because I talk about this stuff online, and it really opened me up to a lot of scrutiny. I knew that the last time I used was it.
right? And you said it's about 3 years ago. Somebody on YouTube called CPS on you.
Uh-huh.
Do you have an issue with that particular person at that particular time for doing
I
that?
don't have anything. I have exactly 863 days sober. I use a calendar because I don't count my days anymore.
Hmm.
So I just count the milestones now.
Right, right,
But
right.
I still have my calendar that it keeps track of my milestones, the start overs, the setbacks, and all that stuff. But yeah,
And it says 800 and how many days?
63.
863. You're
Yep.
almost at that thousand day mark.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to May 21st, which is my 3-year milestone. So we're getting
May
there.
May 21st. We're gonna have to write that down in our calendar. So all of us people who's going to be hopefully that listens to this and get some information out of you will be there to support you on your 3-year anniversary of sobriety.
Yeah.
What so did you end up rehabbing or did you do it by counseling when you started to kick it?
Cold turkey. I just stopped. Thank you, Yunu. Hey Terry, I just stopped. I just had enough. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I still speak to a therapist. I'm in counseling and those kind of things. But as far as using, I don't do 12 steps or anything like that. I just stopped.
Right. So after you kick the can, as they say, in one of your in one of your videos, it says that you turned to you went back to the Lord for help.
Yeah, so that came much later. So that was pretty well. I wouldn't say it was that recent. It was like last year. So was it last year? Dang, Terry knows. When did we go? Oh, no, she doesn't know. Yeah, it was sometime. I took a cruise, right? And I got back. I got baptized in the ocean in Miami. And then, yeah, I got saved. So that must have been I think it's about a year ago. That was last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
How do you feel as God is changing your life from the time you were baptized to right now?
It just felt different. I feel like for God to take someone who was not a Christian was the complete opposite of all that. And then, I had an experience, became a believer, and now, I'm walking with Christ. I think that that's what needed to happen. And that God takes people that have been through a lot and uses them. So I can relate to a lot of people. I like to minister to people and share my testimony with them and let them know that things will be all right. It was October 2023. Thank you, Terry.
Is this your
That's my friend. We took a cruise over to the Bahamas. And then when I got back to Miami, I got baptized after the cruise. So I'm just thinking, this would only happen to me. I go on vacation and I'm hanging out in Miami. Some missionaries approach me, dunk me in the ocean, right? I agree to them. I'm like, yeah. When they asked me, when they were talking about God and Jesus, and I'm just like, I don't know what they're talking about, whatever. But I just felt something. And I just felt like my life is crazy. This is what it would take to get my attention. And that's what we did. And I felt different ever since. I mean, my whole life has pretty much changed when I got back. My friendships changed. My circle changed. And I'm just much more grateful of life. I just feel that this is the path I need to take.
So in one of your videos, also, you were stating, and this was what intrigued me because your responses you said to these people, but also it kind of made me upset and want to fly out to different people's areas to knock on their door and talk to them about how they scrutinize you for the change and where you've been and where you're going. You want to speak about that a little bit?
I get scrutinized a lot. When I started to share my journey, I was on day 0. And because when I was looking online, I didn't see anybody. Everybody I was talking to, I mean, all the channels, they had like 5 years, 10 years. I didn't see anybody that was just starting out. So I started out. So of course there was relapses. There was a lot of setbacks and things like that because I was starting out and I didn't have the tools yet. And sometimes it takes a lot to get somebody to be clean. Okay. So people like to throw my past in my face. tell me that I'm just a junkie, I'm worthless, I'm all these things. But I feel that just shows the stigma attached to substance abuse disorder. I mostly speak out and fight because I know other people are going through it, and people judge. People are going to judge you. So I do get a lot of judgment, a lot of criticism, but I just keep going. Mm-hmm.
What is the big in the last, and make sure I get this right because I don't want to make a miss a day. 863 days. The biggest battle between day 0 and 863 days internally. What has been? I know it's an everyday battle, but what has been the biggest battle for you?
I think the biggest battle is knowing that you've lost a lot of time and not wanting to waste more. So that's why I don't worry about who's in my life now. I don't worry about who, friendships that I lost or relationships or anything like that. I don't worry about it because I don't have any time to lose. So my biggest battle is just making sure that I'm very present for my family, for those that's in my actual life. Because sometimes you think about like the past and some of the things that you've done that you could have done differently. So I think the biggest battle is staying present and in a moment. Yeah.
What if you can, what Bible scripture keeps you motivated every day?
Jesus wept.
The shortest one in the Bible, but it has so much meaning to it.
I picture someone caring for me when I didn't care for myself. I know it's the shortest scripture of the Bible, but that is the one that made me cry. And that's the one that I felt. And it's the one that I can remember. How you doing, Armando? That's the one that I can remember. So, and here's the thing. When I started talking about the word of God, and because I feel that I just have a testimony, and that my testimony in itself, it shows the power of God. So that's more of what I want to share with people. That scripture is always going to have a lot of meaning to me, and that is my favorite scripture in the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Good. If you can talk to your young self, what would you tell your young self today?
You are enough.
So the second part of that question, if you see somebody with potential that was on the wrong path that you took, how could you help them today?
And there's a lot of wrong paths. Are we talking about the drug path?
Whatever branch. Listen, I'm not putting too much of your business out in the street. You know what I'm saying? That's for you. But whatever tree branch you want to go down and say, how can I help him with this particular problem? How would you do that?
Okay, we'll stick to the drug thing for this question. But like I said, my story is layered. If I was, I'm just there to listen. I don't really offer unsolicited advice. I listen, and then I feel led to say something at times. Mostly I just listen. And I just tell people, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain why you don't want to do something. Think about yourself. Don't let these people tell you who you are and what you should tolerate in your life. But as far as me giving advice to people, younger people or people going through certain stuff, when it comes to the drugs, if you're not ready to change, that's a personal journey. So I show a sober lifestyle. What is it like to live sober, be sober? And hopefully people will be encouraged off of that.
Has people around you, your inner circle, have they embraced you with your change? I know your kids are probably very proud of you, but people out in your inner circle that's outside of the family, have they embraced you with your change?
We don't talk about it. They're happy. We have a close relationship, but they don't really talk about it because I was always functioning. I wasn't someone that didn't take care of their kids or was just out doing nothing. So, and my immediate family, they don't live with me. Like my family's from Wisconsin. I mean, I have my kids and stuff like that, but no one really brings it up.
And just to relate, I had an uncle who did have a substance abuse problem, and he, unfortunately passed from it. And I understand what people are going through, because there's a lot of people that, especially the job that I have, I talk to a lot of the folks that do have a addiction, and a lot of times they just, like you said, they just want to be heard and understand, and because they get it out and they feel as though if they can talk about it, they can stop it, what they're doing. I had a question. Somebody sent me and said, ask her, who you got, Trump or Kamala?
Trump.
You got Trump?
Make America great again.
For the second time in a row?
I'm Donald Trump all the way. Mm-hmm.
Got you. What leads you to follow him? Not follow him, but support him.
Now, I'm for the Constitution. I was a Republican before Donald Trump. Donald Trump just happens to be the Republican candidate. I'm voting Republican. Would he have been my first choice if there was another choice as far as a Republican candidate? I can't say that he would have been, but voting for Donald Trump, I won't vote Democrat. So there it is. There, I'm not for the Democratic Party at all, and I stand on my conservative values.
Gotcha.
Terry.
Listen,
we gotta protect our borders. We gotta protect our borders. We have the right to bear arms. We right now inflation is out of control, and I just want things to be. I want America first.
The Padres or Dodgers? Wait, not
Cubs.
Padres. You're a Cubs fan.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a Bears fan?
Bears.
Got you, got you. And are you no, if you're a Bears fan, are you a Michigan fan or Ohio State fan? Neither? You don't watch college football?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I would watch it like in person. Do I follow it? Nah, either would be the same. Armando nervous about that because I know I'm gonna run there after this. Nervous.
So what is this Nikki Haley thing?
We're doing a debate right after, so that's why I was like, I have to do part 2.
Okay.
But with the election and things like that, I am so nervous. So I think that's gonna be what's good, the truth. A good conversation. But this was an important conversation for me as well. I don't really share my story anymore or my testimony outside of my sector, but I don't mind it either. It's just that I have come a long way, and I try my best to blend in and be involved in politics, be involved in current events and stuff like that. Because at one time I was just out of it, so it feels good to have these conversations now.
Right. Well, one thing I don't want for a positive remark to you would be don't blend in, stand out.
Okay.
And I say and I see that in your videos. Now, some of your videos, I'm like, why do you care what these people are saying about this person, that person? But I enjoy your videos because you stand out. You do things different, and you don't care who's listening or who's watching or who says something. You are you do things differently, and I do, and I can respect that.
Thank you.
the how much time do we have before you go to your other debate? To your other 5 minutes?
Wait, but let me say this. Because I checked out your channel, and I'm just meeting you, so I'm gonna tiptoe on this because I don't want you to take things the wrong way. Okay. Mm-hmm. Maybe I could tell you behind it's so usually It doesn't matter. I'll tell you later. It's like some channel stuff, but we won't do that right now. I don't mind sharing. I was checking out your channel and stuff like that. I like what you're doing. You have positive commentary and different interviews. I really appreciate you for coming. I mean, I really appreciate coming over and just chatting with you.
Right. Well, only
And I
reason
would
I really
love to come back and chat some more. That question that you asked me about how did it all start was layered. So I didn't really want to go too deep into it, but I don't mind. It's just that it's kind of
it's
yeah,
multi-parts. It's multi-parts.
it is. I think that's with a lot of people that was addicted to substances, because you have that, and then you have how did they become addicted, what happened. Then you got the mental health aspect of it, and just a lot of things go with that, you know.
Right. Two more questions and I'll let you go. One, what branch
You're
did you serve in?
You said what?
What branch?
Was in the Navy? I mean, in the military. You asked me what part.
Yeah, and you was.
I
I
was in
said
the
what
Navy.
branch? You was in the Navy. Okay.
Yeah.
And only reason why, because you have the same hairstyle as my daughter. Have you seen in those videos? So I was like, you know what? I mean, hey, this keep it what you used to. You know what I'm saying?
I was in the Navy. Yeah.
Navy. I was in the Marines in San Diego.
Oh, you guys were a part of the Navy.
Yeah, you were.
You were a part of us. We're a team.
Yes. We love the rides to wherever we would need to go for free.
That's right. Yup.
Hey, Heartbeat. That's my best friend right there.
Heartbeat.
But I'm so glad, and I'm so
was that the two
pleased.
questions? The military.
That was my two questions. Yeah. I'm so glad you came up. I don't want you to be late to your other part, and we'll just set it up again. Okay. Another question came about: what advice would you give to upcoming content creators, like myself? I am kind of new to the game. I fall under the Wolfpack. What would you give new content creators to strive and get to the level that you are?
Be consistent. Doesn't matter if you consider yourself a small or a large channel. You have a platform. Make your words count, and just be protective over your private life. And your private life is one thing. I'm not saying not to come on here and share, but come on here and give your content and keep doing your thing. You just got to be consistent.
Yep. Well, y'all, she's got to get on the plane on Air Force One and get to her debate across the country. It's been a pleasure having you here, Miss Understood. And I can't wait till we do part 2. We can dive deeper into the battle. And as I can see right now, 863 days is that battle is won. You just got to keep winning every day. And I'm going to be one of your biggest supporters. If you need anything, you need somebody just to vent to or talk to. Like you said, you don't know me from a hell of beans, but I got I'll back up what I say. I would definitely support you and protect you from anything that you need to protect it from.
I appreciate you, and shout out to you. You did connect us. You did reach out, but you knew knows. She'll tell you about me. I get a little anxious sometimes, but I would love to come back. I would love to take a look at your channel and see if there's any way that I could help you. I'll give you some of my tips that helped me grow, and I look forward to coming back. We'll chat. Thank you so much for having me over. I really appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you have a good evening, and I hope you win your debate tonight.
Me too, because they're not going to take it easy over on me over there. But I speak a lot about Trump. Somebody wants to challenge me on my ideas. That's what we're going to do, and I can't wait for our part 2.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you have a good evening, everybody. Misunderstood.
Bye, you guys. Thank you. What's the topic of the debate? I'll tell you. Can I tell them the topic?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's your time.
Pull it up for y'all. And then when we chat, I will tell you a little bit more about what you were asking me. so we can dive into some of the topics we wanted to talk about. So this debate, let me go to my community wall real fast. The topic is they sprung it on me last minute, y'all. Sorry. Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. So I will be debating Sister Nicole, and hopefully drop the link. The link is on my community wall. You knew. So I'm worried about it. I will see y'all on the YouTube streets. I'm gonna get ready for my debate, and I'll talk to y'all soon. It's on my community wall if anybody's looking for the information. Bye-bye.
Bye. You have a good one.
Thank you.
So there you have it, y'all. I'm glad that she agreed to come back to to do a part 2. It was time pressing. I couldn't get the questions out, but as she agreed, we're going to go deeper into the into her life and the struggles in her life until she is up to date. And y'all be prepared for this. Not only am I a sports guru, but I love learning people in a positive way. I love learning how people have made it through the struggle within their lives. It doesn't even have to be through drugs or alcohol or anything like that. It could be just a mental thing where it's just a mental thing that they are struggling with on a day-to-day basis and don't know how to reach out to the resources. Most people, most my veterans, PTSD. Yeah, we can go to the VA, but it's deeper than that. I had a person in my life that always said, we got to get to the root of the problem. We got to peel back the onion. And at first I'm like, what the hell does that mean? But we as humans are like an onion. There's so many layers that we cover up the center of the root of the problem. And and there's some of us, like for myself for a while, could not be transparent. And I held a lot of things in. And I didn't want people to know my problems because, again, a dude, you who wants to listen to a dude whine and cry about their problems? You know what I'm saying? So, but I had to get over that. I had to speak and I had to tell people how I was feeling, even if it was a negative way, a positive way, whatever have you. We have to tell people or someone that we trust that I'm not feeling well today. I am not myself today. My head is spinning today. My head is all over the place. And I do have that person. I have a couple of people, and as a dude, you don't want to go talk to your mama about it because, even though your parents are not judgmental, in your head, you thinking, what I tell them, they might judge me. I do have my best friend, Heartbeat. I can go and talk to Armando about things. I can go and talk to you about things. And that's where I think that this is where, as I look at different people's their channels and listen to them and get to understand their struggle and how they made it out their struggle, we're gonna bring it to light. There's no point of hiding it. Like the word that Misunderstood kept using was a testimony. But the first part of that is test. Everything's a test. And if you're struggling with your test, the majority of the ways you got to pray to God, and the next one you got to seek the answers and that He gives you. God is always going to give you answers, but He's going to give you the answers that you ask for. But you still have to seek Him and seek the covenant that He laid out for you. So, and you got to seek people who is equally yoked with you. Armando says that a lot, and I love that. Equally yoked with you, and that's just not for marriage or relationship wise. That's just people who have the same beliefs, who's not going to go back and say, well, Sniper came through and he was talking about that he has mental problems, he's just a whack job, and go and tell other people that. You got to find people who are equally yoked. You know, when it comes to relationships, right? Well, and I believe that when we say equally yoked, and we talk about, let me stay on task. Let me stay on task. So, I am going to interview that intelligent woman, Miss Understood, again, and we're going to dig down deep. We're going to peel back that onion, because it's going to help somebody else who listens to this YouTube channel. If anybody shares it with someone that's having problems or struggle with the same issue she struggled with 863 days ago, it's going to help somebody. And all it takes is we helping one, because it's a full circle. You help one, that person's going to help one, or maybe two. And now we got people helping people, and now we're battling that struggle, that stepping in the mud and getting stuck for a little bit. We're battling it together, and they're not alone. I'm gonna drop the link. Anybody want to come up here and chit chat with me for a little bit? Let's do it. The link is dropped for Misunderstood, her debate. You knew, can you drop that drop my link in here, please? And anybody want to come up? As long as you don't come up on that BS. Today is not the day. My heart is full. Hey, it's my first interview with somebody from YouTube that it does have, a lot of followers, a lot of viewers. And we're going to continue doing this. We're going to find people. And if you know somebody that's out there that had came through the mud, through the quicksand, and they had their nose, the last tip of their nose sticking up, and they found a way to get out of that, bring them up. Let's talk. I love to hear people's testimonies, because we all struggle at one point of our life. Not everybody was, born like Job. Not everybody was Job. We got a few Moses out there. We got a few Davids out there. We got a few Johns out there. Well, Moses, I think I went a little too far, because if you had activities like Moses, you need to be behind them bars. And we'll get into that. And we'll definitely get into that. Because another thing is that this world right now is so flipped upside down and squished and just so messy in a one consistent thing. And if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in that, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm going to speak my heart, speak my truth. The one thing that this world needs is you to believe in the higher power. Well, this is something that we have gone astray, family. We have gone astray. We have young men out here killing. We got young men out here thinking that there's somebody that they're not, or something that they're not. We got young ladies out here that's just out of control. We have older adults acting like they're still in their 21s, and they're not being any guidance, any director, or they're not being the leaders that these young folks need. The Bible says we need to be fisher of men. And just because the word man's there, that means that everybody. We got to be fishers of men. We got to go out and bring us lost children to bring his lost children back to him, because we're lost to you. This country is lost. I don't care. It doesn't. It's going to be. It doesn't matter who's the president, who's the vice president, who's the the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It don't matter who it is. We need to start believing again as a country and turn into as a world, and we got to get it right, because we are. I'm talking about, and we're effed up right now. What's going on, big bro? I was just ramping, bro. I'm just rambling. This rap.
What's going on, bro? What's going on? Great interview. Welcome to the big time, bro. Welcome to the big time. Hey, man, that was a hell of an interview. Great, man. Y'all did great, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to MU. Man, she's a beautiful person, man. She's a beautiful person. Heart of gold, bro.
And just like I told her on the backstage, I want to see. Not only we see the beauty in you, we want to see when you was dirty, when you was just nobody could recognize you, and how we made it up. Because again, there is a young lady out there that needs to hear her testimony. There's a young man out there that needs to hear her testimony, and if she and from what I've seen on her videos and stuff like that, I think she can lead people in the same direction that she can. So I can't wait to do part 2 and maybe a part 3. Wasn't able to get through all my questions because she was on a time crunch, but hey, I think that I got through some good ones, some setup punches. How about that? Some setup punches.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was great. Great interview, man. Congrats on that. Salute.
That is mine.
And salute to everybody in the chat. Salute. Happy Monday to everybody. Happy Monday to everybody.
If I didn't get a chance to salute you, because we went straight into the interview.
Tito! What's going on, bro?
How you doing,
brother?
Going on? How you doing, brother?
Good evening, guys.
Good. Hey, what's going on, big bro?
Chilling, my dude. Chilling. Just sorry I was a little late. I was listening to things, but I had you on the phone, and I was doing dinner downstairs, making dinner for the kids, and Fauna's working tonight, so
hey,
it's a little behind.
Armando. This brother can't cook, man. I don't know why he lied to you. Talk about he cooked some dinner.
Come on, man.
That dude ordered some. He had some Uber Eats.
Set it up like Ms. Doubtfire, right? Just straight ordered it. Just put it. I keep it simple, man. We had some pork chops, rice, and green beans. Seasoned green beans.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what's up. I ain't had no pork chops in years, man.
Yeah, I love it. It's with honestly, man, with prices being what they are right now, I think pork is the cheapest or the least expensive meat you can buy right now.
Armando, my Tony here, he made a good point, and you notice that I'm cammed up today. And the reason why I'm canned up, because he made a good. Well, you would like to share that what you told me last night, bro, or do you remember? Because I know your buddy was sitting right next to you. Yeah.
I was hanging out with Jameson last night after that, after our talk there. But about being seen and putting a face with the voice and that all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends on what you're going for. I mean, there are plenty of people who have, if this is an endeavor that you seek to pursue. I mean, you do how you see fit, brother. To be honest, some people they've made even more viewers, or they've made a bigger splash by concealing their identity. People going, oh man, I wonder what this person looks like, and then they'll do a reveal of their identity, and it kind of grows their viewership, their viewership in a way, or stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know, but if I do this, like I have all of this because number one, I just game. I like gaming. I've done, Twitch before, a bunch of Twitch streams, but I also use it for work. I mean, this is my office as well. I work from home, and I do training and lessons, and I find it's just easier or really more healthy, especially like in today's, or in our COVID and our post-COVID time, to see people, right, and make a connection, because it's already so awkward for me working. I hate working from home. I absolutely, I just don't like it. I'm a very social person. I love people. I like being able to talk to someone, look them in their eyes while I'm speaking to them. Like the camera being over here actually is driving me kind of crazy, because I can't. But I'm looking you in your eyes when I'm talking to you. But anyway, I think that having a setup where people can see you, because you're a very personable dude, and when you're talking and you're laughing and you're smiling, I think that's part of it, and that's what I want to see.
I got you, bro. And why I have you on here, I would ask you a question. We're gonna have to sit down one day, because I would like to interview my big brother, my 12-minute big brother. You have a story also. And I know your story. Look around. It turned out to be great. You're still working on it. You're still adding pieces to your foundation, to the beams to your house. But you are your story has come out great. Yeah, and I'm so proud of you, bro. And I want the world to know you. What I want the people to see what I've seen since we were 13, 14 years old.
Yeah, man. That was, I don't know, even just kind of you talking about it like that. I have never thought about it like that before. I've never, I don't even know where I would begin. I mean, if you're just going to begin with kind of where we met, that would be, that'd be something. But you want to do this now? We're doing it now, or? I want to talk about Armando.
Oh, so Armando, we were talking yesterday offline, and like I told you, we said that, hey, Tony and Armando will be a great debate session. And he was like, "When you gonna do it? Set it up right now." Here's
the thing. He got it. Yeah, I'm gonna need a day to prepare for that.
Yeah,
prepare.
Yeah, in a topic, because and to be frank, it's good to just have a bunch of conversations first, because quite frankly, in order to have a really good debate, you've got to figure out where you agree and where you disagree. You know what I'm saying? So because where you agree makes for some pretty boring debate, right? I mean, there's not a lot. So we would have to, have a bunch of good conversations and find out, where we disagree. And then they could be like, oh yeah, that could be something we could debate. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I've always liked when you have articulate individuals who can have meaningful and genuine discussion and debates. It's like one of my favorite things to do. The problem is it's really hard to do, because you risk offending people. You risk, you can't do it a lot, especially like with philosophy. When I graduated with my degree of philosophy, our professor, before we walked on the stage, he was like, "Congratulations." He's like, "You're all, I consider, just so you all know, it wasn't a lot of us. It was like 13 people in my class that graduated with a degree in philosophy." And he was like, "You're all philosophers now." And he goes, "But I have to give you a word of advice." He's like, "Don't do this in public." People don't like it. And there's no faster way to make enemies than to philosophize with people. He's like, just go out there and live your life and do your philosophy, and you're talking, because that's what I think this is. Conversations, that's philosophizing, in my opinion, because, you're talking about topics, you're innovating, you're coming up with ideas, you're analyzing them, and I don't know where I'm going with any of this, but yeah. I think Armando seems like, I was listening to him, last night going on, about the dogs, which is a topic I'm sure he knows way more about than I do. And I was just like, man, Armando, you do this full time? You should be a sports announcer, bro, because he knows those dogs.
Yeah. And we kind of do this full time, or at least one of us is online, him more than myself. But going back to this, the one topic, that you also get to learn people. And you get to understand why they think the way they think. And again, we've known each other for years, and we don't agree on every little thing.
Yeah.
But we do, but you say something, I learn.
That's important too. That I agree. Yeah, I agree that that's important. Like, it's not worth having these types of conversations and discussions, or those types of conversations and discussions ones that can get, if they're political or social in nature and it can get heated. There's no point in having a conversation with somebody who's not open to maybe having their mind changed about something, right? Or learning something about you, because then it's just a clash of ideologies, and that's it. And you're just doing it for kind of the fireworks of, that whole situation, which I'm really curious to. I want to see this debate that Misunderstood is going to have. I'd be really curious to see, what she says, how she handles herself, and whether or not the individual. And this is a bias that I have about current Democrats on the Kamala Harris side. A lot of them, particularly in debate, are rather disingenuous. I don't think it's because they're bad people. I think it's because they have a difficult position to defend in defending her positions. And I think that they have to do some mental and ethical gymnastics, sort of, in a way.
What do you say? The same thing about people who support Trump?
I wouldn't. So yes, but I don't think to the extent of Kamala Harris. And what I mean by that is, so I think the most evident thing in my mind, first and foremost, is her position switching, and that is obviously the clearest indication that she's just being dishonest about her policies, her positions. Quite frankly, I think that's because she doesn't know what her policies and positions are. She's kind of an empty suit, just like Joe Biden was. Excuse me. And we'll go with whatever, whichever direction the political wind is blowing at the time. And you don't get that with Trump. He's very much, he knows what he wants to do. His policies are his own. He can speak on them. He can defend them. For the most part, it might not. Listen, I'm not saying they're a great defense, or that he's even articulate or easy to listen to, because he's not. But I think when people are looking for a candidate to vote for, they want a candidate who is going to give them the most truth, right? I think
you think Trump is an honest person?
No, I didn't say that. I said the most, no, I didn't say the most truth about policies and situations and conditions, on the ground. So for instance, let's just go with the border, right? Because Kamala Harris just recently made a visit to the border. And this might be, and I don't know where you stack up on this, Armando, but what do you know about Kamala's position on the border?
Okay, I'm gonna say it like this, and I'm gonna be frank and straight to the point. And Tia tell you, he already know what I'm getting ready to say. Both of them are full of shit. Both parties are full of shit. And this is the thing with MAGA people, and this is what they're trying to sell, and they hope it could get Trump into the White. It may. I don't know. It may work. All right. I'm independent because I don't trust neither party. Okay. I don't trust neither party. But this border problem did not just start the last 4 years. Okay. This border thing could have been nipped years ago. Now I've been in this world, 51 years. Okay. And in that time, in that time, T, there's been more Republicans that have held the White House since I've been alive. All right. And I just, when I asked the Republicans, okay, so you had Reagan in there, Bush Sr., then you had W, and then you had Trump in there. Okay, and okay, so I'm going back Ford Nixon. I'm sorry, Ford Nixon. All right, I'm telling on myself, telling on my age. So you had all of those Republicans in there. All right, why didn't any one of them build a wall years ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago? Why neither one of them built a wall?
Yeah, well, I think that certainly the United, I mean, that's a pretty far expansive time, right? So Nixon was what, 1967, right? 60 something. I
68 to 74.
Yeah. So I don't know what the state of immigration was at that point in time, and whether or not a border wall was necessary. To be frank, and when I mean necessary, I mean from things like human trafficking, drug trafficking, things of that nature. Just to be perfectly honest with you,
drug trafficking was bad. Started being very bad back in the late 70s. You go back 79, 1980, 81. Drug trafficking started in Southeast Texas. And it also started, you had Cubans coming in Miami, and you had the Mexicans coming in on the southern border of Texas. All of that. I say that to say this.
Right. But
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, finish. I'll let you finish. I apologize.
Yeah, this problem just didn't start 4 years ago. This has been an ongoing problem. And it was bad in Florida. They kind of cooled it off down in Florida. All right, but it was bad back in the late 70s, and definitely in Texas. I mean, it didn't just start.
Right, but I think that there's an important nuance to what you're saying, though, there with what was happening and at those those points in time with those particular demographics, right? Number one, it was those particular demographics. There's 3 or 4 of them, and also 2, that activity that you're speaking about, at least related to crime and trafficking, was localized to those areas. Is that right? To those areas in Texas and Florida and Nevada, or wherever else this was occurring. What you're talking about now is that, but on a national scale. On a national level. It isn't just those border towns anymore that are being impacted by this. Quite frankly, it's New York City. You've seen that. And also too, let's be honest, it's very interesting that the majority of what we're seeing, and maybe this could just be because what the news is highlighting, but it seems to me that these are occurring in swing states in an electoral year. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan. See what I mean? You know what I mean? Like Minnesota, Ohio. These are key voting states that have a high count of electoral votes. And these just happen to be the states that are receiving 20 to 30 illegal migrants, undocumented, whatever it is you want to call them, into these communities. Why? Is it all purely coincidence? Is it deliberate? That's a whole nother. But just to get back to the other point that we were making before about why no one built the wall, I think that is why now. Now I know it didn't just start with. And I hear that often is like, hey, listen, this illegal immigration problem didn't just happen yesterday. And I fully agree with that. But we can determine whether or not it has been getting better or worse. And my initial question was, what is Kamala Harris's border policy? And quite frankly, I think the answer is she hasn't really had one.
Neither one of them have.
Oh,
Neither
no, that's
one of
not
them.
no. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. I mean, that's not true at all. That's why we
But we
say
had
that's why we
problems.
give that's
We
why we
had
give.
problems under Trump. We had
Oh,
there
certainly.
were
I'm
some
not
incidents
and,
that
it wasn't a perfect absolutely. I agree.
hold
But he
on,
had a
slow down.
sure.
Hold on, slow down. Land the plane. Calm down. The sex trafficking count picked up under your boy Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, y'all want to sweep that under the rug and want to erase that. But this hold on. Hold on.
Yeah,
hold on.
I want to.
The sex trafficking got worse under Trump. Okay, now you want to talk about when the wall should have been built. You want to talk about things are hold on, let me finish. You're talking about things are worse now. It don't get no worse than September 11th, 2001. All right. How did that happen? How did that happen, my brother? Let me break it down to you how it happened. Because you had illegal immigrants coming over here, taking flying lessons. Now they came under the radar because they had money.
Well,
they had money.
They actually overstayed. They overstayed their visas.
They overstayed their visas.
Yeah,
but the people that was supposed to been watching them, or making sure that they didn't overstay their visas, their palms were getting greased. All right, and so we know what administration was in office during that time. All right, so it happened. We can't erase that. Okay, now our towers were taken down. We got hit. That was the worst attack on American soil that happened under Republican watch
since
Pearl Harbor. Now, Pearl Harbor, yeah, but that happened that went in the mainlands.
Yeah,
we talk about the mainlands, brother. Come back to the mainlands.
Yeah,
New York is the mainland. Manhattan is the mainland.
Yeah,
and it happened on American soil, and that hit. Not only did it happen in New York, the Pentagon got hit, my brother. Let's not forget that.
No, I remember. I remember. I was there.
And the plane that went down in Shanksville. Thank God for some brave Americans fighting back on that plane. They was headed toward the White House. That would have really been a disaster. So I say that to say this. All right. So you had all that time. He had 2 terms. Why wasn't a wall built back then?
Now you're talking about Bush. You're talking about Bush.
And when Trump got in there, because you got to remember now, when Bush was in there, he had the House and the Senate. He had the House and the Senate. When Trump got in there, he had the House and he had the Senate. Okay, so he could and he had a majority. Had a majority of the Supreme Court vote. The Supreme Court.
Trump did.
Yeah.
Trump didn't have a majority in the Supreme Court until he actually got the second Supreme Court justice picked, which was Brett Kavanaugh, and that was at the end of his term. That's at what point that there's been more of a conservative majority. And also too, they did not have the Congress and the Senate. They didn't have the House and the Senate. Because they held the executive. There was a split in the judicial, and they had the Senate. They did not have Congress.
Okay.
They had the majority in the Senate.
Okay.
Which is why
Okay, he did more executive orders than Obama. Obama did a lot of them. Now, but Trump surpassed him. Now, when it comes to the country's safety, you can override Congress and the Senate and do an executive order. When it comes to the safety, Bush could have did it. He could have did an executive order to have the borders locked down.
Go ahead. I don't think that at that point in time, I don't think that the level of migration was anywhere near what it is now. But also too, I did just look something up, and it says that the Secure Fence Act of 2006 was signed into law on October 26, 2006 by President George W. Bush, authorizing a partially funded and potential construction of 700 miles, 1,100 kilometers of physical fence barriers along the Mexican border. The bill passed with supermajorities in both chambers. So that was a bipartisan effort in 2006 that actually was undertaken during the Bush administration. So they did, in fact, fund and pass a bill to fund and build 700 miles of fence. Now, as for the the rate of migration, like I know that the rough estimate is somewhere like between 10 and 20 million illegal immigrants since 2022 excuse me, have entered the United States. That's more than that is more illegal immigrants that have entered the United States in the past 2 years than in the past 8. So that would be Trump and Obama's presidency. I'm sorry. Yeah, but that would go back past Trump and Obama's presidency, right? So it effectively, under the Biden administration, the problem has gotten considerably, not just worse, like considerably worse, like by orders of magnitude worse. And I can understand fluctuations, and because we've seen it, like whether you had a Democrat president or a Republican administration, right? Whatever it was, you would see fluctuations in immigration. You'd see numbers go up, you see numbers go down, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's based on policy. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's actually things that are going on in the country, whether or not countries are stable or if they're warring, things like that going on. But this is evident that something else is going on here, and you've seen, and this is anecdotal, but I don't know if you've seen, but I have seen on Hispanic news stations where they're asking, people why they're coming, and they're saying, they're coming because Joe Biden is the president, and he will allow them to enter the United States. And I'll let you pick at that one. But one other thing I did want to say is also too, at this point in time, another thing that's unique about this, about how, this immigration issue now, it's not just, it's not Mexicans. So it's Venezuelans, Peruvians, Russians, Chinese, Middle East. Not to this extent. Not to this extent. So it has been this way. I would say you're right. Probably in the past 5 years, at least, it's been this way. But I mean, I can't remember what the count is. I have to go back and look here, but there are known terrorists like that are on watch lists that have made from the Middle East that have made their way through this border. It hasn't necessarily been like that to this extent in the past.
But the point I'm trying to make is, and we all can sit here and say it's gotten worse.
Sure.
Yeah, we know it has.
We know it has.
When it's just like a leak in a ceiling.
Sure.
All right. We knew the leak has been there since 2001 when those planes flew through the Trade Center. We knew the leak was there. Yep. When you don't fix the roof and let the leak continue to stay, and more water and more comes, and we're talking about 2001, 2024. What do you think is going to happen? The leak is going to get bigger, and the problem is going to get worse. I say that to say the problem could have been nipped. It could have been nipped under Bush, and it definitely could have been nipped under Trump. Now, you made a point, and you basically, thank you for that. You said that Trump got the majority, the Supreme Court went conservative under Trump's, like the last 2 years he was in office, correct?
Amy Coney Barrett was the last.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
he got the majority. He got the majority with Brett Kavanaugh. But then Ruth Bader Ginsburg died.
It's conservative. It's conservative. No matter however way you dress it.
Sure. The majority. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that means then anything that he could have put up any piece of legislation that he could have put up in those
not
4
any piece
years.
of legislation.
Hold up.
It
When
still has to be
it regards our
constitutional.
safety, in terms of our safety, now you can't sign executive orders when it comes to finances. All right, you got to take that through the Congress. All right,
Correct.
but when it comes to our safety, he could have easily, number one, did a mass deportation. He could have did a mass deport. Yes, sir.
He could have did a mass deport.
Right. He's the commander in chief.
But that would have been suicide. People already call him Hitler, bro. They already call him Hitler.
What's more important? What's more important, protecting the country or being popular?
Hey, I agree, but what does every first term president want? A second term. And he wasn't going to get it by deporting a bunch of people.
We don't know that. We'll never know because he didn't do it. We'll never know. Now
that's it.
He could have.
Let me step in here.
But
real
let's
quick.
just say hindsight. He'd have did a mass deportation and got all of those undocumented, because you can trace them now because they're getting government assistance. So it won't be hard to track them down, T. Mass deportation,
not just government assistance. They getting phones. They getting houses.
Getting everything, phones and everything, bro.
EBT cards, bros, on food stamps. What?
They getting them little Capital One cards with the $300 credit line and all that.
Crazy,
now,
bro.
Sniper.
Crazy, bro.
Boy, they eating good now.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, because both of y'all are very intelligent brothers, and I love it to death. I'm going to limit y'all to 2 minutes on your statements. I'm gonna start asking. I'm gonna ask a question.
All right. Yeah, there you go.
We understand about the safety of the United States, and it brought up a good point about mass deportation and everything. But when we had the opportunity to do that, when ICE was invented, and was invented, and the American people, and let's not. I'm not going to take away from the way certain actions that ICE took by separating the kids from their mother and father. That we're going to leave that off to the side. That shit had a slant to it. Okay. Now, do you think that one of these, whoever is the next candidate, should deploy ICE again for these folks who outlive their visas, have committed off-lifing people, and they're not doing their part to become either nationalized or become American citizens? Should the next candidate, and I'm gonna start with UT, should ICE be deployed again?
Yeah, so ICE was never called back. They were never called back. They're out there. They're still there. So my uncle was a customs agent in John F. Kennedy Airport for 23 years. He was there at the transition. He retired just around the transition around the time that they transitioned to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, is what ICE stands for. I do law enforcement in the military, and we have a couple people in our unit who are ICE agents. The issue is not whether or not the ICE agents are there or not. I'm sorry, are not there. They are there. There aren't a lot of them. They do need more manpower because, quite frankly, the issue that we're dealing with at the border is large. I mean, it's huge. There's just more people at the border than these teams can deal with. So number one, they need personnel. Number two, they need policies to allow them to do the jobs that we're talking about. To do the job that we're talking about, that tough job of looking at something and saying, "Hey, this is not a port of entry. If you want to come into the United States, you can come into the United States through a port of entry. You don't have the documentation paperwork to be here. If you want to claim political asylum, go do it at a port of entry." For right now, I'm going to wrap you up. I'm rolling you up, and I'm taking you back out. On the other side of the wall, outside of our country. Donald Trump had remain in Mexico in place. That was a policy that was saving us some money and giving us legal capabilities to slow the illegal and legal migration, right? To vet individuals, to determine whether or not people were safe to come in to the United States. So I don't know that is, am I at 2 minutes? I don't know. I was talking really fast.
You got 30 seconds.
Okay. But, and what was the final, there was another part to your question. The children thing, but we won't go there.
Yeah. I said we wasn't going to go that part because that is a touchy subject. And I don't want to, and not to really defend anybody, but I know how I felt about the children being separated from their parents.
Yeah, and one other point I did want to make real quick with the Remain in Mexico, almost every immigration policy that Trump had, Biden reversed the day one of his presidency.
Armando?
Okay, like I said, both parties have blood on their hands when it comes to this right here. This should have been nipped in the bud. It should have been taken care of back in 2001 or 02, okay? Because it's not just about the Mexicans and the Venezuelans or whatever. You mentioned the Russians or whatever. You got to remember what was going on back in the early 2000s. You had Russians bringing X pills over here. A lot of people OD'd off of those X pills. We want to talk about the fentanyl now, but those X pills took out a lot of people. You had meth. Meth was very bad. Who was bringing it over here? Who was controlling it? Mm-hmm. You had the Russians. Okay, so when I say illegals, I mean from all spectrum. We had a chance to get an executive order signed up, mass deportation. Now, I understand what you're saying, Sniper. It's a touchy subject, but bro, everybody can't be happy. If you want to get this done, everybody can't be happy. There are gonna be some people that it's gonna be some things that go down that's not gonna be pretty. But in order to get this done and to get the border problem solved, you're gonna have to lock it down. Yeah, you're gonna have to lock it down. Period. Point blank. All right, now
30 seconds.
The wall could have been built, and it would have been nothing the Democrats or Biden could have done about it because you had majority conservative in the Supreme Court, as you so eloquently stated earlier. T, go.
So with regard to the wall, wall has been built, was being built. I've seen video of them in parts of Arizona where they actually had trench built for the wall, and then when the when the Biden administration came through, they ceased construction on that wall. So I do, in part, blame that administration for not following through with continuing that. And I agree. I hear what you're saying is that they're both bad, or at least they both haven't been efficient. And I agree. And what's crazy is if I'm supposed to be defending the conservative position, he's actually really more conservative on this than I am. He's saying deport these individuals, which, you know what, to be honest with you, I agree with you. I'm just saying the reason that Trump didn't do it before because it wasn't politically expedient for him at the time to do so. But I agree with you again on the fact that forget political expediency. What is actually safe for the country? And that's what we need people to do. But my major point is this. I said at the beginning, what people are looking for when they look for a candidate is they look for a candidate who gives them the most truth. And right now, quite frankly, I know for a fact that that's not Kamala Harris. She's not being truthful right in the Biden administration. They're not being truthful about their policy. Their policy is evident. It's clear. They completely went back on the Remain in Mexico policy. They completely did away with every bit of Trump's policy that he was trying to implement in order to resolve these issues that we're talking about. And it sounds to me like you are kind of a fan of that type of those types of policies, and they stopped them all. And then they turn around at some point and they were on the news and they were like, yeah, remember when we have such a short memory now with social media. They were literally on the news not even 3 months ago saying there's no crisis at the border. Everything's fine. Everything's fine at the border. Now you turn around, you got a Kamala Harris ad and she's talking about how she's going to be a border hawk. And that's going to be her new policy. And she's visiting the border. And all of a sudden she's viewing walls when before walls were racist and there were problems because they were, 5 seconds. Because he was, because in some way a wall was racist against Mexicans or other races of individuals in those areas trying to break through the border illegally.
So go ahead.
Okay.
30 seconds.
Let me retort. Okay. How long I got?
30 seconds.
Yeah, more than 30 seconds. Come on now.
2 minutes, bro.
Give me 2 minutes, man. Come on. All right.
No.
All right. Time.
All right
now. Okay, so show me a politician that don't change their positions. Every politician has done it. Reagan did it. Carter did it. Nixon did. Every politician has changed. Trump switched up on the abortion thing. We all know this. He switched up right there on the debate stage. He sounded like a liberal when it came to abortion, and when they had that big vote down there in Florida, brother, he sounded like a liberal. All right, now when it comes to that, I'm on the same page as you, to be honest with you. I don't believe in that crap. I really don't, unless you have valid evidence that you have been raped or there's incest involved. Other than that, using it for some kind of birth control or whatever, I'm totally against that. Okay. Now, you talk about Kamala switched up. I just wanted to point that out to you, man. Trump has flipped on a lot of things. Who has flipped more than Trump? Remember back in 2008, he was very liberal. He was one of Hillary's biggest donors. He supported Hillary. As a matter of fact, the grudge that he has against Obama, it didn't have really anything to do with him and Obama. It was the fact that Obama beat Hillary in the primaries. And ever since then, he's had a grudge against Obama for that. So they all changed their policies, man. A part of changing your mind is I equate that to evolving. We evolve for the better, you know. So I don't have a problem with her, changing her policies. It's for the better. Sometimes changing, when you change your mind, you make adjustments and you correct the mistakes from before. You just evolve. Nothing wrong with that, brother.
Do y'all both think that the wall is the determining factor, and it's going to slow? Do you think it's going to end it, slow it down, or have no real effect on how these the illegal immigrants get into this country?
Because, can I go first?
Yeah, let me set this plane in the air real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Because again, we could set a wall through from Arizona, Texas, whatever, but you still got Louisiana, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Virginia, all the way up. It has water, and that's another way that those folks are getting in. They're getting past the Coast Guard, they're getting past the radars and all that stuff. So do you think that is is going to deteriorate folks to come in, or find better ways of getting in? And yes, sir, you start with you, Mr. Armando, and time starts now.
Okay, if you do it right, Berlin did it. Soviet Union did it. When they went to East Berlin, they built that wall. Wasn't nobody getting over that wall. You remember that? You ain't that young now. We all remember the Berlin. Nobody got past that wall. China did it. The Great Wall.
The Great Wall.
So if we do it right, I ain't talking about building no little half-ass fence. I'm talking about a real wall, 30 foot, 50 foot, however long it take to get it done, from the border of Cali all the way to the Carolinas. I ain't just talking about stopping in Florida. I'm talking about rounding it up, going up on the coastal Savannah by Tybee Island and taking it to the border of the Carolinas. Do it right. If you're going to do it right. And ain't nothing getting past that wall, 50 foot. And if you have to put alligators out there, Trump made a comment about that. I didn't think it was funny. Man. Yeah. Do what you got to do to make sure nobody even thinks about trying to get past that wall. Put electrical fences. Man, if they can build Alcatraz to the point where it's darn near impossible to escape there, they're building these prisons where it's darn near impossible to escape them. Surely the government can build a wall to keep these migrants out. Do it right. You can get it done.
I don't know how you curve it up to the Carolinas and hit a hard left. And
it can be done, man.
We
It can be done. It can be done, man. It's gonna take some money, but it can be done. Y'all, man. It can be done, man.
Hey, listen,
anything is possible.
I was just sitting there thinking, like, wait, what? Carolina? You just live Tennessee to be exposed? Go.
I agree with my man Mondo on this one. Really, I don't necessarily think to the extent of Carolina, but certainly, the areas in Texas that border with Mexico all the way through Nevada and California, New Mexico, and those areas. I think. I mean, listen, they at the RNC they had a gentleman who he was a guest there. He has a ranch, and they are trafficking humans through his ranch as well as drugs and some other things. And the man had, they showed some pictures of his ranch, and he's had to actually spend his own personal money to secure his property which he's doing. But it's not his job, right, to take that on financially and build a wall to secure the United States' borders, which you don't have a country without borders. And of course, physical security is a thing. Walls work. That's why there's one around the White House, as my man said. Armand is, one in China. So many different. Now, bad example, Berlin Wall. That was more people keep people in, right? But still, the fact of the matter is that these physical barriers are a positive thing, and they can work. Now, what I think is more important, not more important, at least as important, is that you give ICE the ability through policy authority, manpower, and funding to do other things, because quite frankly, there are other methods of employment that need to be employed to assist in their mission of keeping illegal immigrants out, which is, let's get them UAVs up, right? Let's keep the fentanyl out with drug dogs, or, in more agents. There are other, air patrols. There are many, many, many other methods to be employed, or that need to be employed in order to achieve that mission. But a wall is the foundation. I agree.
Any pushback from you, Mr. Armando?
On that right there, we agree.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't like either party, but I am all in favor of securing our country. Because I do not want to see a situation what happened on 9/11 to ever happen here again.
Amen.
What would both of you do? I like how this has turned to a little debate off the rip. We got Senator Santiago and Senator
you called me. See, this was short notice. You called me on the bad. That's why I said, bro, we're gonna have to do this.
Look, he's still with it, boy. This man, he's like, oh, you called me on the bad. He's with it.
Yeah, man. I'm on an empty stomach. Then I got to spend time with the family and everything. Man, it's a short notice thing, man.
I mean, how about this? You two give me we come up with a date and a time, and we can get our questions together. I can get my questions together, and we can actually do this.
Sunday.
Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
I have drill this weekend, so I can't do it this weekend, unfortunately.
Oh.
But yeah. Maybe was Sunday in the evening?
Yeah. Like around the time that Sniper went live last night.
I think, yeah, I can probably swing that, bro. Should be good, because I have drill, but it's during the day. And
you just let me know if you make it back home in time.
Yeah, Sunday will be good, because as long as it's just not Saturday night. Saturday I'm going to be smoked, because we're doing entering clear and CQB, and I'm going to be the op 4 and getting shot at with sim rounds. So that's going to be a painful day. So
just have your cup on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember those days. Have your cup on.
Yeah, them sim rounds that's no joke, man. Those things hurt.
Well, Chad, hey, listen, we gonna have us a debate coming on. It looks like, Armando, you going live in 30 minutes?
That's a pre-record.
Oh, you already pre-recorded? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm gonna catch that.
The site is on UNU up in around about it says 0747 with Miss Underwood debating her politics standings. We go over there and see that. We're gonna have I will have Miss Underwood back on.
Misunderstood.
Understood. I don't know why I got never mind. Listen,
and this is Big T's first day ever meeting her, and he got her name down pat.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh, because he's reading. I'm trying to get my words together. But anyways, hey, I want to thank y'all for coming out. I want to thank Miss Underwood. She gonna go back and see this. Thank you for coming. We'll have a part 2 and possibly a part 3. I want to understood. I said it right that time. I read it.
I thought you said wood again.
No. You said wood again. Yeah, you getting there. You're getting there, man.
Yeah. What time is it, man? It's my bedtime. Anyways, thank you, Heartbeat. Thank you, Armando. It's always a pleasure having y'all up here. Thank y'all for coming in the chat. Hit that like button on the way out. And again, any last words, Armando?
Hey, man, once again, man, I'm proud of you, man. Congratulations. Great interview, man. I'm looking forward to the part 2 with you and Misunderstood. And Big T, man, it's always a pleasure chopping up. You got to come over to the sports page, man. You know.
Yeah. I got it.
Yeah,
it's good too, because like you guys got me talking about college football again. I kind of fallen out of sports for a while. I was a little disenchanted with everything, with politics just pervading everything. But I like it, and I like having the discussion and the debate on sports and politics. I'm sorry, on sports. So I think I am going to do that a little bit more, man. But it was a pleasure talking to you, Armando. I'm a big fan. Just in the 2 times we talked, I like talking to you. And T, good job, man. It's so, like I said last night, fills my heart with love and joy to see you with an outlet and doing something positive. And I love you all, and God bless you all.
Yeah. Hey, love you, bro. Y'all have a good evening. Let's switch over there to Misunderstood.
Yeah.
And support her in her debate. Hey, as always, continue to pray every day. If you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. And with that, Sniper is out.
All right.